Now, at this point, it makes 7 homes collapsing at Rodanthe in the last 4 years. And every time we show the viral videos and do the stories, the conversation does turn to climate change, and for good reason. But the reason why Rodanthe keeps losing homes while other communities don't has a lot less to do with a changing climate and a lot more to do with money. You see, beach erosion is inevitable. It affects the entire coast, and it's measured and studied constantly. It's the reason you see those huge pipes up and down the beach from time to time. They are renourishing the coastline. They pump sand from a sandbar back onto shore, fighting the effects of daily erosion and some of those bad storms. Wrightsville Beach, for instance, they see around 3 feet of beach erosion per year. So every couple of years, they renourish that beach. Their last project wrapped up in March, costing $14 million. Now, Rodanthe, on the other hand, they see up to 15 feet of beach erosion per year. So renourishing there would be double, if not more, of the price. I should mention, that's not a one-time fee. As long as the waves keep crashing, erosion will continue, which means you have to do it again and again and again and pay for it again and again and again. Otherwise, catastrophe is inevitable.
I think it's interesting to look at what a beach nourishment project would cost in Rodanthe, which is on the order of about $30 million. If you were to take that $30 million and buy the homes out that are the most vulnerable, a beach nourishment project in Rodanthe is likely to last somewhere between 4 and 6 years for $30 million. If you take that $30 million and buy out the vulnerable houses, you would buy yourself about 20 years in space to allow for that erosion to take place.
2 decent thoughts there. Unfortunately, they can't afford either of them. And every time they ask the federal government to help out, like so many other communities up and down the coast do to get this type of work done, they're told no.
And so far, we haven't met any of the qualifying characteristics of the applications when applying.
And homes falling into the water doesn't seem to be tipping the scales on that?
The area where it's occurring, typically when you have a funding source, you've got to have a larger tax base, something that's going to keep providing funding to continue nourishment projects. And the Rodanthe area doesn't have a large enough tax base.
So some people who live there, like the man you met in Brett's story tonight, will pay big money to move their homes out of harm's way. That is, until harm's way comes knocking again. Think of it this way. If you moved your home 100 feet at the current rate of erosion there, you'd have less than 7 years before the water was back outside of your front door. And on an island that's less than a quarter mile wide, you might say Rodanthe is stuck between a rock and a hard place, which sounds a lot better than what they're dealing with in reality. The ocean isn't stopping. So at this point, it might be renourishment or bust.